Good evening, everyone. My name is Rudy Page and welcome once again to Homeward Bound Creativity Show. We've got some great information for you once again today. Got my co-hosts Donovan Longmore, Wayne Horn. We've got guests Garfield, McCook. We've got Jennifer Speid, and we've got, of course, our number one chief partner, Dean Rhoden. And I think a bit later on, we'll be hearing from others as they come on the platform. So this is about creativity. And it's been said before, the future is uncertain. But this uncertainty is at the very heart of human creativity. So creativity is about unleashing the potential of the mind to conceive new ideas. Innovation is about introducing change into existing systems and developing competencies to make new ideas viable. Entrepreneurs should join forces, and that means right across the diaspora, and combine our entities and operate our business models across all of the international boundaries and cultures as well. So the Homeward Bound Creativity Show series reflects a high level of collaboration right across the diaspora, working together for the betterment, as we would say, the greater good. And again, you'll hear about the 21st century skills. It's part of the values, collaboration, communication, creativity, critical thinking, and the importance of applying those values at all levels. We think about the young people and their development. We have our principles of young people need somewhere to go. Young people need something to do. Young people need someone to show them how. So all these principles are part of the creativity show. We also increasingly now think about the community's well-being. And this pandemic has shown us that we must have what we call trusted messengers from our communities. Those who've got the skill, the background and expertise to transfer the knowledge across our communities. So we talk about being informed, reassured by our trusted messengers so that people can make the choice for themselves. And on that note, I'm going to start off with Donovan Longmore to give us an overview. What's happening in your part of the world, Donovan?
Thank you so much, Rudy and guests. Welcome each and everyone watching on Facebook, YouTube, and whatever medium. I am Donovan Longmore, co-chair for the state of Connecticut for the Jamaica Global Diaspora Council. And in Connecticut, a lot of great things are happening. On behalf of the Northeast, right now we're doing something called pop-up shops. And what that is we're IDS Integrated Diaspora Services with Nordic Taping Company. They bring, of course, services here in the diaspora. So if you want any business done back home, you can stay right here in your hometown and get it done, whether it be passport, immigration, TRN, license, shopping, sending money, opening bank accounts, businesses, land matters, it doesn't matter. Any business you want done in Jamaica or anywhere else in the Caribbean can be done from right here. So that's a wonderful thing that's going on, Rudy and guests. So we're doing that all over. It did go to all the other states. I know they were in Atlanta with Wayne and Florida. Now we're in New York. And the great thing about us now, it's the 60th anniversary, of course, for Jamaica celebration and Trinidad. And we're also preparing for that. As you know, in Connecticut, we have the Carnival celebration. It's a parade and it's 60 years going, the longest running in the entire North America. And that's all stemmed from the West Indian Social Club. Now, the West Indian Social Club is a mecca in our town, in our state, because it has been there for the community and for all other organizations. 72 years, they started out bringing farm workers here. We have a great farm worker program. Immigrants and anybody who comes here, the West Indian Club was viable for that. And we also create a lot of other activities for children. This summer, we're doing some creative program to help kids understand the culture. A lot of kids, though they were born here, don't really understand and know much about Jamaica in the beginning and the heroes and all the things that happen, the Windrush and all that stuff. So we're trying to make sure that they understand and know how the world works and what's going on with their foreparents. We're getting ready again for, like I said, the 60th anniversary with the Carnival Parade, and that's going to be a huge event. It's free and open to the public. but we want to make sure that everyone is on board and know what's going on. We also have a jerk festival, the Taste of the Caribbean and Jerk Festival right here in Hartford, the capital city. And that will be on August the 6th, exact day for Jamaica's independence celebration. And then the Carnival Parade will be the week after at downtown at the Bushnell Park on August the 13th. We got lots of great artists signed up, and school is getting ready to, they're just come off our spring break, so they're getting ready now to get for final exam next month. And we're preparing stuff for children. A lot will be going away, but we're going to have kids coming here. And I know Dean is working on a program where, Pandakana, we're trying to get kids all sorts of help in terms of scholarships and stuff like that. So those are the things that we're working on here in Connecticut and doing some great things and work with all the other, council members throughout the states, in the United States and throughout the world too, because we connect with everybody else. So that's Connecticut on a tidbit. And again, congratulations to the West Indian Club on their 72nd anniversary. And we look forward to seeing you guys. And thank you much.
Great, thanks. I remember going there in 1995, long time
Wow.
ago. And in fact, talking about Jamaica 60, of course, yesterday we had our United Kingdom launch. It was a church service, and that was facilitated by Dr. Beverly Lindsay. You know her. She also runs Diamond Travel. So that was a church service at the New Testament Church of God in Birmingham, and it was a great affair. We had the Honourable Minister Edmund Bartlett, also the Honourable Olivia Babsy Grange as well. So that was quite a big affair yesterday. So the United Kingdom has officially launched their 60th activities. And in fact, a few weeks ago, we had an event up in Manchester, up in the north of England, and that was a great event. And that was attended by Wade Lynn, who's the honorary consul for the Midlands. And our partner up there, Richard Davis, really got the community together. We had some great poetry from one of our great authors, Deanne Heron. Also, we had Linford Sweeney, who's done a lot of research, on the heritage of Jamaica, and he teaches a lot about genealogy as well. And so that was a great event. So the events are just starting to really get going now. So we look forward to those. Right, Wayne Hall, what's your report from Atlanta?
Okay, that's right.
Returns face to face. Join us for this historic, prestigious black tie event as we celebrate 60 years of Jamaican independence and 45 years of the Atlanta Jamaican Association. Atlanta Airport Marriott Gateway Hotel, August 13, 2022. Call 404.
That's right. That's what I wanted to get out there. That date that I couldn't remember. It's August 13th.
No charge.
No, sure. I had to play that, Rudy, because I couldn't remember the date. But there's quite a bit going on that I can share. In fact, Rudy, if you'll allow me, I would like to start with apologizing for the absence of our honorary consul, Dr. Elaine Bryan, who would have been a guest had she not been on vacation. And she did share a list of items that I should present on her behalf. So I'm going to try and share that now,
no
so the audience could see. I hope you're all seeing that well.
Yeah, we can see it.
Okay, so, April 30th is the next event, Community Youth Outreach, Thriving with Technology on April 30th. Jamaican Consulate Atlanta, Jamaica 60th Pre-Independence Celebration, May 15th. Pernashall Park, Girl Talk 2022 and Boy Talk for Men 2022. That's all on the 15th. Then there's the Health Fair virtual workshop taking place in June. And just, overview, Hartsfield Jackson International Airport Luncheon is in June as well. Invest in Jamaica, Strengthening Ties Between Jamaica and Georgia, July 9th. Jamaica's 60th Anniversary of Independence Church Service will be on August 7th. More information to come on that. Another Invest in Jamaica event, Education Pairing Schools, will be on October 8th. And then we have some other events with that are on the agenda for the Honorary Consul, the University of Georgia School of Law Consular Series with her as speaker on October 17th, State Farm Arena community activities, Atlanta Hawks games, November, and Winter Wonderland Christmas as we get closer. I'm sure we'll have more shows by then in order to, and be able to share more information on those. So thanks for allowing me to share that. Atlanta, though, is definitely recovering. Those who needed to recover from the pandemic, because I've heard in many areas, I don't think Atlanta stopped for COVID. The dance hall scene, the party scene seemed to have just kept going. But we have 2 carnivals in Atlanta every year for the last several years, and they take place on May 28th. There's the Central Park Atlanta Carnival, and then there's the Stonecrest Carnival. And so there'll be 2 on May 28th. There's the Atlanta Jamaican Association Ball. I just played the date, that's August 13th. And I think we have a 5K run walk coming up here on May 7th, I believe. It's gonna be happening in several cities, Orlando, Miami, and Atlanta are 3 of them. I think Texas is involved. Don't quote me on that. But those are some of the items I know coming up for sure here in the Southeast in this 60th year.
Right. Okay. Great. All right. And you're going to say a bit about Autism Month?
And yes, I like to show off my shirt, kindness, love, and my background, Autism Parent Support. Yes, this is Autism Awareness Month, and I work with students. I teach students who are autistic, and I also work as a registered behavior technician, which means I do private therapy outside of the classroom as well. And so I've been doing the rounds, trying to just spread awareness. Our diaspora, our community is now seeing more incidents of autism with more diagnosis. We've gone from 1 in 68 a few years ago to 1 in 54 now. So we're seeing more of it. And as someone who has committed my life pretty much these days to working with autism, I'm reaching out and also letting folks know that I do have a program that helps parents. It's autismparentsupport.com. That's the website. And what I do there is I have a 4-part presentation where I try to bring the essence of what will be a great foundation for a parent to know about autism, especially those who just learn of it through a diagnosis of their child, to just kind of get a grasp of how can I proceed? And then that will also give them a foundation on which to build and receive and understand a lot of the information, the wealth of information on the internet out there about autism. So yes, autismparentsupport.com, and we can give you even more information there.
Great. Thanks for that. Very worthy cause.
Yes.
All right, Garfield McCook, bring us up to date.
Good afternoon, panel, and once again, thank you, Rudy Page, MCW Network and FRESHFM London, Radio London, for having us on. JIIFSC is in its 2nd staging, and for those who are not familiar, I'm going to go the long version, short version, and shortest version. So it's a Jamaica International Independence Foreign Song Competition, acronym which is JIIFSC, and now we're going to be promoting ourselves as JIIFSC. So we went from longhand to shorthand to shorter hand. It's just a matter of branding. So we're in our 2nd staging, and it's an annual event in Georgia. We have created that platform for artists, Jamaican artists or artists of Jamaican descent who are living in diaspora. 2nd staging, it's going to be an annual event, and we're trying to cement brand Jamaica. One of the things is that we'll be inviting folks here, and once they come here, then the next place they want to go is to visit Jamaica. So it will do good for tourism. So that's the aim and the goal. The venue this year is going to be a 400-seat or 450-seat theater, Shiloh High School Theater in Snellville. And it's going to be a 400 seats. And one of the incentives we're doing is because of Jamaica's 60th, we're going to be, once ticket sales go on, which starts on May 15th, anyone who has ticket number 60, because of Jamaica's 60th, tickets number 60, 120, 180, 240, 300, 360, and 420, once they present those tickets, they'll get their money back. So again, we're going in 60 increments because of Jamaica's 60. So that's our way of giving back and celebrating 60. This year, we're bringing back the SWAT band, who did a good job for us last year. One of our hosts, Queen Adessa, will be back. We're looking for a second host to share the stage with her. We're fortunate to have this year as our keynote speaker, our Superior Court judge from Clayton County, the Honorable Joel Scott. She'll be our keynote speaker. We're excited also to have our first corporate sponsor in JN Money Services USA Inc. Kudos to the regional manager, Maxine Hines, and Parry Hines, no relation, from Cool Runnings Restaurant, who was very instrumental in giving us our first corporate sponsor. And we're a 501c3 corporation, so spread the word. We need as much sponsorship as we can to keep our platform alive and well. We would also like to welcome our media sponsor, Cool Jams Radio 103, hosted by Chris Rich. We have our judge panel. One of our things is integrity. Last year we had a great group of 5 judges. This year again we're blessed to have 5 judges, and I'll just name them off and give them their credentials. So I'll be reading so I don't make any mistakes. Rika Newell, who is singer, songwriter, producer, and a voting member of the Grammy Awards LA chapter. So Rika Newell is back. Shirley Thunder from up here neck of the woods, Donovan, is back with us this year. Artist, producer, songwriter, hit song, Kuf. And we have also, who's on our panel, none other than Wayne Hall from the Wayne Hall Show, he's a teacher, author, radio host at Reggae Vibes Radio and FRESHFM London. We've invited Dr. Garnet Mort. He's a composer, arranger, music director. He's currently on the faculty of Key School in Annapolis, Maryland. And he's also a lecturer at the Edna Manley College. And he has been collaborating with artists across the Caribbean, USA, and Europe. And last but not least, we have Twiggy. Twiggy, many of us know Twiggy, artist, songwriter, producer. One of her great renditions was It's Too Late. And she's also gained international recognition in Japan, Africa, and Europe. So this year we're back in full force. We had 70 people in attendance last year. We expect to have over 400 this year. And we welcome all who are here present today. Get on, book your flights, book your hotels, and hope to see you.
And Garfield, please send me the information. That way I can put it on my radio show as well.
Thank you. Thank you, Donovan.
Great. Thanks for that. And no doubt we're going to come back to you a bit later on. Jennifer Speid, over to you.
Hi. Well, good afternoon, good evening, panels, and thank you, Rudy, for inviting me again on your show, and good afternoon, audience. I'm Jennifer Colleen Speid. I'm speaking to you from Montego Bay, Jamaica, but it's not, the weather is not as nice as it used to be, as it usually is, should I say. But I'm going to talk to you about, if I may, just touch on 3 subjects. I won't be able to follow you guys with all your wonderful events that you're having. Congratulations for Jamaica independence. But there is another anniversary coming up, which you will all remember as I mention it, and I'll mention it the third thing. So I'm going to touch on 3 things. Rudy, well, first of all, Rudy, thank you for the opportunity. The first is the Jamaican School of Etiquette. I'm the founder and the CEO of this organization, which I started in 2018. It's 2017. And that was to teach actually sort of etiquette, social and soft skills. to the young people in Jamaica. I had a contract with the Ministry of Education, sorry, to deal with that, to do that. We trained over 2,000 students, particularly in hospitality, because in the hospitality industry, like I'm here at the Hyatt in Montego Bay, it's a matter then at the time of actually training them in sort of etiquette and how to greet guests and so on. It's a very important skill, a soft skill and social skills, which a lot of people tend to overlook. And I will say that, and I just touch on this briefly, it's not necessarily about dining. When I talk about etiquette, the first thing people say is, oh, it's posh and it's about dining. That is, yes, it is, but it's so much more. At the moment, if you're looking at employment opportunities, one of the first things that they will do, one of the things that I talk about is social media etiquette. The things that we'll do, they will go and they will look, once they get your CV, before they even call you for an interview, look at your academic qualifications, they will look at your social media posting. So that's something that we need to look at and address with young people and other people sort of doing that. We've had so many instances of people getting fired or one thing or another because they've actually got posting on social media, something derogatory, doesn't fit in with the person's brand and so on. So you need to sort of be wary of that. The other thing is again to do with employment. The first thing, as I said, they look at is your social media page, and your academic qualification now becomes the second thing that they'll talk about, because it's about their branding and they want to protect that. So social and soft skills training is very vital for a lot of people, I think, going into employment, because that's something that they look for, because it's now about brand protection as opposed to academic qualification. You can train you, in their brand protection, and qualification doesn't necessarily, it's not the top thing that they look at when they deal with employment opportunities now. So we just touch on that, and I've got a website, it's all there. So the second thing I want to touch on is the British Jamaican British Jamaican Association. Again, it's an association that I started here in Jamaica. When I came here in 2015 to look after my uncle, which will bring me to the third part I'm going to talk about. He since passed in 2019. And I just sort of stayed here and I wanted to do something. And there was so many challenges when you come here, so it's a second generation sort of come here, so many different challenges when you want to start business. It has gotten a bit better now, but it used to be lots of hoops that you had to jump through. So I started that in 2017. It's registered with the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. There's a booklet that, as a stakeholder, we used to have meetings with them with the diaspora. And as a stakeholder, I used to attend the meetings for that, and particularly in regard to the UK. It's listed in the booklet. They ought to give, I know we worked on a booklet with the Jamaican Constabulary Force, which is called Welcome Home, and that came about after there was quite a lot of, unfortunately, a lot of high profile incidents here in Jamaica. So that was in 2015. At the time, Colonel Charles Jr. was actually the chair of the Diaspora Task Force. So we should do that, and that was established in 2018. I'm focused on assisting sort of second generation here. I find that a lot of second generation Jamaicans are wanting to live in Jamaica because especially after the pandemic, people can live on the other side of the world and work somewhere else. And why not sit somewhere nice and warm and do your work? So that's actually fun. So that came as a result of my own personal experience when I came to start a business. The thing is mentioned about banking, open a bank account. Gosh, it's such a really hard task to open a bank account. I didn't want a credit. I didn't want an overdraft. I simply wanted to open a bank account, and the hoops I had to jump through to getting JP to sign letters and sort of things like that. It was really quite a battle. So that's one of the things that I found that needed to be addressed, and you guys are sort of addressing it. From the US side, I'm not quite sure whether or not it's addressed from the UK side, but that is something that we need to look at. So I started that, and what I'm going to pivot onto with that is under that auspice of the British Jamaican School. I haven't gone, because I go home to the UK, as you probably sort of hear from my accent. I'm actually grew up in the UK. So I've gone back to the UK. Someone's in the ask a question there. So that's to the UK there. Okay, so I'm going to go back to the UK. I decided I worked with my training through the Jamaican School of Etiquette. I worked with the Women's Association, what do you call it now? The Women's Foundation, the Women's Center of Jamaica Foundation, WCOJF. The Women's Foundation of Jamaica works with adolescent girls who are actually pregnant adolescent girls who then are taken out of the school system, put into the work with this institution, this foundation, until they've had their babies, and then they go back into the mainstream school. So I was rather interested in that. So I did 2 trainings, one for the one office in Kingston. They have a home institution in Kingston, an office in Kingston. And they've got another one here in St. Anne's Bay, which is where I live. I live in St. Anne's, but I'm at the moment in Montego Bay. So that's where we sort of thing. And I got really interested in that. So what I did when I was home last year, I started collecting quality used baby clothes from 0 to 5, which I'm going to be handing out to give to these young girls. And what I want to do with that, I'm working with the Kiwanis, 2 Kiwanis club in the UK, which is going to help me. I'm actually working with the Jamaica Trust, which is one of the oldest charity in the UK. I think it's from Jamaican Trust, which started actually independent. So it's also having its 60th anniversary. Because that's sort of the Jamaica Trust UK, and I'm working with Vivian Witter, who is actually the chair of that organization. So I'm going to base it sort of like on a charity like Oxfam, because you guys know about it. So I'm going to be using that. The used clothes, they're going to be coming in, and I'm going to use the baby clothes that I'll be looking for 5, 6 things I've actually named as far as this project is concerned, the project that I'm working on. The baby clothes donation from 0 to 5 years. Books, I'm also going to be looking at book reading, sort of reading with the children. So I'm looking at books from 0 to 500, so 0 to 5 rather, sorry. And I'm going to be hoping to partner with the Dolly Parton Imagination Library. I don't know if anyone's actually heard of that. Dolly Parton has got an imagination library where she would give a book appropriate, sort of age appropriate to each child who's registered free of cost. All we need to do is to actually pay for the package and post it. So there's one of the Kiwanis group club in the UK that's already doing that. So I'm hoping to piggyback onto them to do that. Parenting classes I want to do as well. And I said parenting, a lot of the time people tend to talk about mothers, but I'm going to do fathers as well, because these young boys, probably the parents of these, they're going to be young boys as well, the parents. So mothers and their parenting classes, because I find here in Jamaica, and I make, that say young girls, the youngest girl that I saw when I did the training was 13. She was pregnant at 13. So I'm not, and that's because it's school age. So 13 to 16, I think they finish school here at 16 at the moment. So 13 to 16-year-old. And they need to actually, I don't think they have parenting skills because it probably hasn't been passed down to them. So one of the things I want to do with this project is to do parenting skills for both parents, mothers and fathers. Reading classes, again, we're so used to having reading to our children, bedtime stories. And a lot of us, I'm sure, on the panel would actually read bedtime stories to their children. You don't find that here in Jamaica because it's a choice between buying a book or buying the baby food. So I want to look, this is the Dolly Parton Imagination Library is going to be linking to that. So I want to do reading classes for children, mothers and fathers, so they can actually learn, with their child and start introducing their children to books as soon as possible, because I really believe that sort of reading is very good for children. I think that the earlier you introduce them to reading, that the better. Etiquette classes, social and social training, to go back to what I said about the Jamaican School of Etiquette. I think they need that as a foundation when they want to go into work, because I really do believe that that is where they're going to be looking for future employment, that they're going to be looking at your social skills and your soft skills. And that's all over the internet. And I'm going to use it as well as a work experience. So I'm going to try, I'm still looking for a unit, and hopefully in St. Anne's, where they will be sort of coming like internships. So they will actually have work experience there to actually do the sort of work that, whether it's a training or whether it's in the shop, sales or accounting, whatever. So that's what I'm going to do. So I'm looking for a premises there. So that is what I'm going to do with under the auspice of the British Jamaican schools to actually work on this project. we talked about FABSI because it's the Women's Foundation comes under the Ministry of Gender, where FABSI is actually the Minister for. So I've been working with her to see how we could sort of partner up or actually endorse, she can endorse that. So hopefully that will actually go towards dealing with that. So the Ministry of Culture, Gender, Entertainment and Sports. So that's what we're doing with regards to that. So that's the two things.
Okay.
Sorry.
Can we come back to that a little bit later?
Yeah,
Your next topic. And in fact, Read Across Jamaica is coming up very soon. It's in a couple of weeks' time, and the theme is this year Ministry of Imagination, where reading is magic. So we will be supporting Read Across Jamaica this year as well as part of our activity.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Okay.
So there'll be more information coming out on that. Right. I'd like to get to Dean Rhoden. Dean, if you can give us an update first of all, what's been happening?
All right, thank you, Mr. Page. It's an honor to be in a company with all these distinguished people. You know, I feel very honored, you know, just to sit in this audience. And as you can see behind me, you know, Let's Talk on the Corner with Uncle Dean. The objective of this program is basically to collaborate, communicate, and make all the necessary connection. And I, you know, would not really repeat what all of you on the panel are doing, and that's what this program doing. You know, I must give thanks and credit to our partner Rudy Page, who have been like I'm like the relay, passing on the baton from England to the UK. You know, I work on the Donovan Longmore. I'm in Connecticut, so he's my co-chair for Connecticut. I'm also a member of the Lions Club here in Connecticut. Mr. Perry was my neighbor. You know, Perry is also a member of my Hermitage Citizen Association. So we used to cook and play football together. That Perry down in Mr. Garfield. Perry is we grew together. So you know, I would say, you know, a lot of connection there with Mr. Perry. So what we do with On the Corner, you know, I've been a scout leader for the past 30 years where I would represent Jamaica. And I would take things to the tourist board. What, you know, when you talk about Jamaica, I've been doing it from in the 80s. People think of the Duns River, the Montego Bay type of tourism. But I focus on the community tourism, On the Corner. When people, those places, they are prepared for tourists. But in the real world, when you come to Jamaica in Kingston, you know, most people would say, don't go to Kingston, it's dangerous. So most tourists are scared of going to Kingston. But people would like to know what is Jamaica on that side of town, the day-to-day Jamaica. And that's where I grew. I grew on the corner where we have our little boat. I learned to play gig. I learned to fly kite. I learned my first psychology class on the corner. And that's what I'm doing to take to the world. And then we have young people that would come on and they would express themselves. You know, we don't have that connection with our younger generation. They're on the computer. Everything they want to know, they have to download it. They have to YouTube it. You know, being a person who grew up on the corner where Bob Marley used to come and have his lunch from a box food. You know, the guy that cooked for Bob Marley, Jimmy Cliff, would come for lunch. The great football player, Alan Skillcole. You can imagine you're playing football in the street and these famous people watching you. So
what about the online meetings that you do for the young people? Because I think in this day and age that they are important.
Yeah, and that's what we do. We take them back, make a connection to tell them what used to take place before online come into existence. You know, they think the world is all online. Some people don't know. I teach in the school system here in America for 1 year. And when I ask a child what he want to be when he grow up, he said he wants to be a ninja. I mean, a cartoon ninja, you see, that's the world he's living in. So you take them back in time to there. And so we do an online program where we have young people make connection from England, from the US, And bear with me, I might do a transition today. We have what is called Entertainment Sunday, where children from all across the globe, let us watch entertainment, watch movies, they sing, they let us beat their regular childhood and tell us how was their week, and we have different forums. So
okay.
once again, I want to thank you for having me on this.
All right, no problem, because I know you've got to go. So Jennifer, there was another topic. If you can quickly just give us that overview before we go.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for that, Rudy. I'm sure I don't have to say much. It's also another anniversary on the 1st of September of this year, the 65th anniversary of the Kendall Crash. And I came to be, well, I grew up knowing about it because an uncle, my youngest uncle, who was 15 at the time, died in that crash. And while I'm here in Jamaica, I'm researching and doing genealogy of my paternal grandmother. And then I found out that his name was incorrectly reported. And in fact, the name that was given in the official record of my uncle who died at 15 is the name of his brother who died, the one that I said I came here with in 2019. So we had his name on it. And I think what it was, my understanding, as I grew up knowing that my parents, my paternal parents, grandparents, did not want their youngest son to go to this train journey, and that they were persuaded by his older brother, the one who survived. And it may be, I don't know how it came about, but I'm still in my research that they recorded his name as, which was Carl Speid as a deceased, rather than the younger uncle, whose name is Hugh, on it. So I eventually was successful last week to there's a committee, because they're going to have a plaque erected at Kendall in September with all the names of the deceased, 177 of them. And I successfully got them last week to agree to actually put the correct name on it, because then I had to send a copy of the uncle died in 19 rather, to them to say, look, he only passed away then. He wasn't the one who passed away in 1957. So that, I think I'm really quite proud of that. So that's something that is going to happen. And I'm still trying to find out where the official inquiries, because there was an official inquiry into this, coroner's report into this, is actually where the records are. Nobody in Jamaica seems to know where they are, but this was prior to independence. So I'm hoping when I go back to the UK, I can find a bit more about it. But at the time, it's the biggest crash in the world in 1957. 177 people have died on that. So it would have made international news, I suspect, but there's very little information here in Jamaica about it. So if you guys know anything, please share it with me, because I really need to get to the bottom of this.
Yeah, thanks for that. In fact, I had a friend named Shirley Graham Paul, who was actually a survivor from the Kendall crash. Actually, she used to talk about it. In fact, she was a midwife here in the UK. Came from Jamaica, of course, and then, in fact, during her career, she delivered over 2,000 babies. She was always very proud of that.
Yeah.
And in fact, she was one of the founders of the Mary Seacole Memorial Association here in the UK, which really did a lot of work going back into the early 1980s. So we're now talking about 40 years ago to bring back Mary Seacole's name. And because it had kind of been buried in history. And of course, it's everywhere now. We've got a statue, and young people learn about it in the curriculum. So Shirley Graham Paul was quite influential. And we actually did a trip back to Jamaica a few years ago. And so we did some activities and seminars around Jamaica. So she's very talented. Dean, you got your hand up.
Yes, being in school, you have to raise your hand to make an important point. As we do this celebration, I'd just like to inform the world, it's going to be a very historical year for the Augustown community. While we celebrate our 60th anniversary, we're going to be celebrating 184 years of Augusttown Emancipation Day. You know, the 1st of August, and it's collaborating by the diaspora, you know, which, you know, Rudy Page has been piloting this project. Whereas we're going to be looking at the history of Augusttown. You know, this is a community that was named after Emancipation Day. You know, all the legacy, you know, we just completed our bobsled competition, and I'm very proud to say that a member is from Augusttown, the bobsled player. So we're going to look at all our, you know, our historians that is from Augusttown. Simone Edwards, she's from Augusttown. You know, Nicole Grant, who's going to be coming to the Olympic, she's also from Augusttown, and several other ambassadors. So, you know, I think it's, you know, just want to give you a heads up what we're working on now in the Augusttown community in collaborating both the heritage and all the legacy that is in Augusttown. So I just want to bring that across before the transition.
Right. Okay. Good. Right. Donovan and Wayne, are there any other points you'd like to bring up given what we've been listening to? Anything from your areas?
Well, just to add to that, as Dean and Jennifer mentioned, the things we're doing for Jamaica for the 60th. On my show, I usually do like a collaborative top 100 incoherent with Jamaica's 60th. Independence. So this year I'm gonna do the top 100 songs. Well, actually 200, because the last one I did, there were some ties, songs in the same category. So I'm gonna extend it to 200, and that's a project that I'm working on with a couple of DJs in the area. So that's gonna be something that we're gonna be putting out there as well. And it's not necessarily just based on sales alone. It's the effect that the music have on not only Jamaica, but the rest of the world. And, you know, I get a lot of call about, you know, the quality of the music is diminishing, and you know, people just don't realize and understand the real history of reggae music. So we're trying to teach that and let people understand and see why. I mean, yes, we didn't win the reggae Grammy this year, but nonetheless, we can't blame the soldier group that won it either, because, you know, to me, I think we need to put out better quality music. So that's something that we're going to be working on.
You can't win. You can't blame the winner for getting over.
No, cannot.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Wayne is laughing.
You know why? It's an interesting discussion / debate about the Grammys this year and who won. But I think it's sending a strong message that if we are to capture that kind of award, we need to look at what their blueprint is. Who gave them reggae? They got it from Bob Marley. A lot of Marley influence in that group as well. A lot of people don't know there was a Marley as one of the producers.
Exactly.
And a lot of Marley influence on the voting. And so we have to think about the blueprint. It's not whether or not the person is out of Jamaica. Is it reggae that the world was taught to be reggae and fell in love with that is going to be universally appealing? Or just something you're doing now that you and your little corner of the world, people love it, but you can't even tell people what it's saying outside of your little corner. So it's just a matter, I think, of going back to the drawing board and understanding if you're trying to win the Grammy, this is the product. If you just want to entertain and do you and your community, then you might be doing a different product, none of which is wrong. But don't blame the person who looked at the blueprint and said, man, I'm going to get as close to a Marley as I can and try and win a Grammy. And then when they win, you wonder why. So that's my take on it. So that's why I laugh.
And Tricia
likes the most popular opinion on the Grammy.
Okay, Gary.
Since we're on that, just to piggyback, you know, it's interesting. Last year, Wayne and I were at a drug festival in South Carolina. And, you know, on my arrival, I heard this great reggae music, great singing going on. And I just thought, you know, it's our folks. Only when I turned around and got closer, it was a dub place. You know, and the music was so rich, so ripe. I mean, that I had to join them on stage for a little impromptu thing. I thought it was so good, you know. So, and I'll be sharing that stage performance this week, you know, on our social media. But you know, when you had a show recently, and I said, you know, I gave an analogy that Ford built cars, And other folks went ahead and built other better cars.
Exactly.
But Ford did not cry. Ford went back and even came back with better cars. So I think that's what we need to focus on and moving forward.
And it is about upholding values. And we have to uphold the values that we impose on others.
Yes.
We want to be accepted in other societies. That's how we exist in the diaspora.
Yes.
So it's about values, but you know, it's a good lesson learned, and I'm sure the lesson is being learned. You know,
it's well received.
Yeah.
Rudy, you had mentioned a quick additional update. There's not a lot more. I think in our next go around, I'll have some more specifics from like our Atlanta Jamaican Association and so on. I know if Dr. Bryan was here, she would like to share this flyer though. It's one of her upcoming events on the 15th. The Honorary Consul for Jamaica and Atlanta, Dr. Lane Bryan, in conjunction with JAPWAG, present Jamaica's 60th Independence Celebration, which takes place on, where's the date? May 15th. And it's from 1:30 to 5 p.m. on a Sunday at Pernashall Park, 4575 North Shuttleford Road, Dunwoody, Georgia. So just want to let folks see that flyer, know that her honorary consul is going to be staging that event, and it's something we can put on our calendar.
Absolutely. Great. Right. I've seen Antoinette Page arrive. Good evening, Antoinette.
Hi, everybody.
Has your guest arrived with you?
She's here. I can see her. So we have YEZA.
Okay. Let me just do a little. Oh, that's YEZA.
There's
it's
YEZA.
because I saw Monique YEZA. I didn't even recognize you. It's the sunglasses.
Being featured, yo. Yes, sir. Sister.
We're grinding, now. Pandemic can't stop the damn winner. Mama said for grinding, no darling, no. Get the bag, the knots off the drawstring. Well, okay, we have a make with great. Well, okay, we have a make with great. Tell them try we on another day. Launch a rocket, we are elevate. Yeah, darling, left the fire on the streets, it's like a laundry. Then love my company, some me a fiancé. Love my own company, some me never lonely. Allow me, when you see me touch the road like lightning, abide me. Every dollar I feel me politely, me righteous. Not know what them say, not to surprise me, me sighted. Still I rise up in a this crisis, which niceness, ayy. We're grinding, pandemic can't stop the damn winner. Hold myself for grinding, no darling. Get the bug, the knots off the drawstring. Well, okay, we have to make a great. Well, okay, we have to make a great. Tell them try it on another day. Launch a rocket, we making the money out.
Check your speech as if you breach it underneath. So you can be you're not so sleek at the least. I'm so deep, you're not so cheap. Now repeat and I feel, let me see. I'm in the clouds, I'm in the street. Come up large at your feet. Can be somewhere on the beach with them girls, give them beaches. I've been looking at you, yet I'll be some reach. In the north, in the south, I'm in the west, I'm in the east. Nothing you do can stop me. Nothing you do can stop me.
We're grinding.
Tell us more. Tell us more. Congratulations, YEZA, on that collaboration. Well done.
You're on mute, YEZA.
You're on mute, YEZA.
Oh, hey, yes. Yeah, so what do you want to know specifically? Let me know.
Just tell us about the collaboration.
Yeah. Sizzler.
All right.
Introductions first. Introduce yourself to the panel.
All right. Well, I'm YEZA, hailing from Eastside. I'm a recording artist. And the collaboration right now, I feel like it's It's really just a dream come true. Sizzla Kalonji is a legend, not just for Jamaica, but for the entire world of reggae music and the culture. So, yeah, this is a dream come true for me. It's probably the biggest moment of my career so far. And I think that the track is fire. Reason being, it can transcend the generational gap. I feel like it's clean. You can listen to it if you're from the older generation. I feel like the younger generation can vibe to it as well. And we're seeing positivity and upliftment. So I love it. That's what I have to say.
Excellent. So you've got Wayne and Donovan. I'm sure that they'll have a question for you.
Yeah, sure.
Go ahead, Wayne.
Yes. So, that I like the vibe. I like the energy that I get from the music. And first, I'm going to say, be sure to send it. I'm going to drop my email in the chat. Right.
You've got it
this.
already.
You got it already, Wayne.
You've got it
Rudy
already.
Send it to us.
Okay. Am I?
Check your email. You've got it.
Okay.
It's in our email.
Oh, cool. Cool. All right. So when I go get that, I'll be blasting. So when you say
Awesome.
East Side, where's East Side?
Yeah, so East Side, we're referring to 8 Miles Bull Bay specifically.
Okay.
Yeah, that's where I'm from. Star of the East,
Awesome. I love that. What influences would you say you have in your music? Who was there anybody you grew up listening or any kind of music that you said, man, this is just driving me. I want to create music that goes beyond or at least is as good as this.
Yeah, absolutely. So I feel like I have influences across genre. I was massively influenced by the sound system era. I feel like I would always hear some of the greatest reggae artists on sound systems before I even know their names. So I'd always hear Mighty Diamonds. I'd always hear Sister Nancy, Bob Marley. And those are massive influences. Ray Darwin. When I look at R&B, I got exposed to that by my mom, who was always watching TV and playing a lot of the soul songs from foreign. And we talk about Anita Baker there. Also my dad, Anita Baker, and basically like the Isley Brothers, all of those kind of classic, sounds. So I feel like across genres, I'm influenced by different people.
Which is awesome because you know what? That explains why the product is so universal and refreshing. So
thank you.
Yep. I look forward to knowing more about you though. Hopefully one day you'll be a guest on my show.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, that's a given.
Well, that's what we're gonna do. So yes, don't worry, we're both gonna interview you on our radio platform.
Awesome.
Yes, then we'll dig a whole lot deeper.
You'll get in Atlanta and Connecticut.
There you go.
And Florida.
Awesome.
Florida, yeah. Donovan?
I mean, that SZA Kalonji collaboration was great though. As you know, SZA dealing with the whole big yard thing and doing a lot of great things, Judgment Yard, and taking it to the next level. And like you said earlier, SZA is like a legend in the industry.
Yeah.
One thing people don't know, Dennis Brown is my favorite artist of all time. And Dennis Brown had more studio album than any other reggae artist in the world. SZA Kalonji just passed him.
Really?
Yeah. SZA Kalonji has more studio album than any other artist in reggae. He has over 100.
Yeah. So basically we were talking about that. I think we went out on Friday. It's Friday night, yes. And we met up with SZA Kalonji's DJ, right? And this person is one who tours with him. Al Pacino is his name, Al Pacino. And yeah, basically we were talking about the fact that SZA now has the most reggae albums out of all the reggae artists, period. Yeah, at this present moment, which is a great accomplishment.
Really
is. Yes, I love the shades, I love the profile, I love the music. You're representing, I'm from Harborview, you're right by Bull Bay, so we're neighbors. Big up my sister.
Oh, mad, I love it. Yes, we're neighbors.
Yeah, nice. So Antoinette, we're gonna, because we're just about closing soon, so I'm gonna give you the last word.
Well, we're really appreciative of, Rudy's support. So I'm Antoinette. I'm one of a 3 management company team that we work and support YEZA. And as she shared, the collab with Sizzler is fantastic. We've been working diligently for several years, and to see her career now really flourishing, it's brilliant. And she's a great artist to, be working with. And we look forward to sharing the work more widely. And thank you, Rudy, for having us.
Yeah, no problem. We're pushing it hard on Fresh FM Radio London, as you can imagine. And I absolutely made sure we were the first to play it.
Awesome.
We were talking about getting over the line first earlier on, the importance of that. So yeah, no, it's great. No, congratulations, YEZA, and
Thank you. And thanks for the support, Rudy. Thanks for the support by using your platform to shed light. I mean, my thing is bridging the generational gap. And so I love the fact that we all can listen to it and feel comfort in that, because, clean music and conscious music, I feel, is the real way to go. So
it's absolutely the way to go. It really is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Jennifer, would you like to say anything? We've got YEZA on the platform. Great young, we talked about young women and role models earlier on.
Yes, we did indeed. Then congratulations. I think it sounds good. I must say that I'm more blues than jazz than reggae, but well done, and I'm sure with the support you actually get in from Mita, you do well, and you're fresh, you're young. And you certainly have a style about you. I like this. I like your persona. That looks really good. So well done and good luck.
Yes, it's got great style.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Right. So we just hear a little bit more.
Me get a misdemeanor. Then I miss a women, I guess I forget I reach up. Some trophy on a rocket, Venus and Serena. Knowledge of the surfer key, so better get to read up. Not true, my righteous, but enough to be a area later. Still I pull up every cup, come get a milliliter. Lock down every major city, can't restrict my visa. Still I fly go Amsterdam, go link up regulator. Still I fly go Ghana, get a visa and for feature. Yeah, yo, yeah, yo, yeah, yo, yeah, yo. Hey yo, hey yo, hey yo, hey yo. You better live on, no. Get up and grow. I said I'm in love. Yes, I'm in love with my soul. Come on, oh. Never give up. No wait till the glory come. We already glorious. It's all the trust.
Great. That's what we mean by reggae, global and culture. It's all in there. Very well done.
Thank you. Thank you.
And just to say good night all and see you again soon. Good night. Thank you.
Good night.
Good night, Rudy.
Good night, everyone. Thanks for having me.
Thank you
No
for having
problem.
us.
Take care, guys.
Good evening.
All right.